Hold the applause. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Investing with Confidence. If you're a first-time listener, thanks for stopping by. I am your host, Joshua David, and we are happy to have you with us today. I do have my good friend, my good pal, and he is the stock master because we are talking about the stock market today, Mr. Al Connickson. Al, how are you doing today?
You know what, Josh? I am doing fantastic, feeling really good, enjoying all of this activity in the market.
The markets are hot, up and down.
Both ways.
But it is cold outside. Is there a song about that? Baby, it's cold outside.
It is. There is a song.
I just made that up.
I've heard it before. Not quite like that, but there is a song.
You know, my singing skills are good, but let's talk about the stock market instead because I think we can talk a little bit better about that. But Online Trading Academy, the sponsor of Investing with Confidence, on their 25th year, teaching people just like you how to trade and invest in the stock markets. Now, that could be short-term income potential or 401k or IRA management, making smarter investing decisions in there. Al, we have a good show here today. The stock markets kind of in a free fall this week. Nice moves down, some pullbacks a little bit. Markets, actually, when we're doing this show, roughly down about 5% from their highs. And there was some big moves in the markets as far as taking over new companies. We have company called Microsoft and Activision Blizzard collaborating in this monster deal, roughly about $70 billion to take over Activision by Microsoft. And Activision is it's an American video game holding company. It's actually based out of Santa Monica, California. And it's the gaming industry. So for our gamers, stay tuned here. But let's talk about these stocks, how they reacted, how we can make smarter investing decisions in there. Let's just start with Microsoft, ticker symbol MSFT, roughly around $309 per share, give or take a couple here based on when you actually listen to the show. And it's actually in a downtrend, down about 10% from its highs. And Microsoft didn't see much of a move after this acquisition and this talk with Activision Blizzard, but coming into a potential demand zone area of interest where institutions could potentially be buying. What's your thoughts on Microsoft and moving forward as well?
Well, Microsoft is part of that technology group that really has gone through or is kind of going through a correction right now. You know, those stocks have been so highly valued and their multiples have reached points that they haven't seen in some cases ever before. So there was bound to be somewhat of a pullback there. They've reached that point where they have to really go out of their way to prove their valuation. Mm-hmm. So they went through a correction. Microsoft is part of the S&P 500 and the Dow, and like Apple, Nvidia, some of the stocks that we've talked about before, Tesla, they're going through these gyrations, but right now they're in kind of a corrective mode. You mentioned Microsoft didn't show much of a movement up after the announcement of the Activision acquisition. By the way, if it goes through, it'll be the largest cash acquisition ever. All cash. It's an all-cash offer.
Let's just say Microsoft has done well.
Microsoft has done well, and this is not going to impact them. They have plenty of assets and plenty of cash on hand to take care of a deal this big. But the reason it went down, and this often happens when you see a company, let's say company A takes over company B. Typically, it's company B that goes up in value because the offer for that company far exceeds the value of the stock at this particular point, the acquisition point.
Well, speaking of, let's talk about letter B, that Activision Blizzard. So Activision Blizzard, roughly around $82 per share. Mm-hmm. And wow, when they basically, it's kind of one of those things, buy the rumor, sell the news, right? It actually jumped about 33%. Yep. When that news came out. So it was actually only sitting at about $64 per share. Now, just think about this for a little bit. We talk a lot about supply and demand zones. It's actually coming off of a nice weekly demand zone where buyers, institutions, were already moving these prices, and institutions probably already have taken their profits or taken those gains. The public now after it's moved up, probably bought in thinking it's a great buy. Well, it's already up 33%. It actually is down off of those highs.
Yeah, well, the value of the offer was about $95 or $96 a share. So you might wonder why the stock didn't go up that high. It's because the deal hasn't been finalized yet. And so there's always that concern that maybe the FTC won't allow it to go through. And the fact that Microsoft went down a little bit, I guess I didn't finish explaining that. Typically, it's because the acquiring company, there's always a question as to whether the acquisition is going to be accretive to their bottom line. In other words, is it going to be a drag on their earnings, or is it going to improve their earnings?
Speaking of earnings, they both have beat earnings the past year or so.
Yeah, and you've got Activision, by the way, that the people that might not know the name of the company know the games. Call of Duty is one of their games.
Mm-hmm.
And what is happening here, Microsoft, I think, has really just kind of started the, let's just call it the metaverse arms race. And the reason that they took over Activision is this gaming industry is a big part of the metaverse. In other words, the virtual reality world. You even have Facebook changing their name to Meta, and that's kind of the industry, or I guess the industry of the future. People are looking at being able to do things from a virtual standpoint. This also maybe makes some of the other companies out there, like Electronic Arts and Take-Two, make those potential takeover targets, because companies like Apple, Amazon, Netflix, NVIDIA, they may be looking at acquiring some of these companies because they want to participate in that metaverse area.
Yeah, it's really been a race in this gaming industry. Stay tuned to the end of the show. I'm going to talk about an exchange-traded fund that holds a lot of these gaming companies, Activision, Roblox, NVIDIA, microchips, AMD. So stay tuned to the end of the show for that. I'm going to give that exchange-traded fund out there. But, this whole gaming industry has been on the rise for the past, I'd say, it's several years, but especially the past 5 years through the pandemic. Gaming has been rising.
Absolutely.
Great opportunities. Now, are they gone? I don't know. Well, there was an opportunity with Activision. As I was talking about, there was a nice demand zone where institutions were already buying it, so they were ahead of the game. They were ahead of the curve before the public are getting into these stocks. So that's where you need to understand how to identify where these institutions are making these moves, are moving price, because the big money, the smart money, moves price. So we want to trade like them.
Right.
An Online Trading Academy actually has a strategy that's designed to follow those institutions, to trade like them. So it's the beginning of the show. And I want to give away some tickets to this investing class that we do right here in Bloomington. We talk about how the markets work, how to make smart investing decisions, and how to buy at a wholesale price and sell at retail just like the institutions. Call 952-814-4410. That's 952-814-4410 for 2 tickets for the investing class. You can also go online to otamin.com. That's OTAMINN.com. Coming up next, we're going to analyze Apple and the S&P 500. We'll be right back.